You didn't stumble onto this video by mistake. This message is calling you out. Some believed they could cross your path, try to tear you down, and walk away without consequence. But they were wrong. God's justice never misses. The scales have shifted, and those who came against you have already begun to feel it. The first strike, that was just the beginning. If they dare come again, mercy won't save them. Only divine retribution awaits. Their downfall is already in motion. If you feel this in your soul, stick around. This message is yours. They thought they could control you. With their feeble attempts to manipulate, to twist, to bend you to their will, they believed they had the upper hand. Arrogance clouded their vision, filling them with a false sense of dominance, as if they could command the heavens themselves. They failed to understand what you are, what they dared to provoke. You are not some pawn in their game, not a thread they can pull to unravel fate. Your existence alone tilts the scales of justice, not by your hand, but by divine will. They were blind to this truth, thinking their cunning schemes could outweigh the weight of destiny. But God sees everything. Every whisper, every shadowed plot, every step taken to harm you has been laid bare under divine light. They didn't realize that their actions weren't just against you. They were against the sacred order itself. The first consequence fell before they even understood it. Divine justice does not announce itself with fanfare. It strikes like lightning, swift, unforgiving, inescapable. Their carefully laid plans, ashes. What they held dear, torn from their grasp. God's hand reached down and shattered their delusions of power, reminding them that the wicked do not go unpunished. They thought the storm had passed, that they had weathered the first strike and could continue unscathed. How laughable. The first consequence was but a tremor, a crack in their foundation. Yet even now, they feel it spreading, like a poison creeping through their veins. They look around and wonder why nothing goes right, why everything they touch crumbles. They don't see the connection, not yet, but they will. The divine balance has already shifted, and with it, their fortune rots before their eyes. Every step they take to rebuild only leads them further into the pit they dug for themselves. Your very presence radiates a force beyond their comprehension, a beacon of divine reckoning. It wasn't your hands that tore their world apart. It was their own. Their arrogance, their audacity to believe they could stand in the path of one chosen by God without consequence. They lit the fire themselves, and now it spreads beyond their control, consuming everything they hope to protect. Let them try again if they dare. For the next wave of justice will not be a mere reminder, it will be final. Their world will burn, and there will be no mercy in its flames. God has encased you in an armor no force can penetrate, a protection forged by divine will and sharpened by justice. The lines they dared to cross before were the boundaries of mercy, but that mercy has been tempered. They believed they could walk away from their offenses, but the shield around you has only grown stronger. Your enemies will find no cracks in this defense. God's protection over you is not passive. It is a fortress of spiritual steel, unyielding to the schemes of those who wish to harm you. The divine sentinels that stand guard over your every step are not mere symbols. They are warriors with swords drawn, ready to strike with the force of the heavens at the slightest provocation. Those who dared to test your limits before thought they had only stirred the air. Little did they know, they had already begun to sow the seeds of their own undoing. God has warned them once and allowed the first blow to be gentle, but this was not for their sake, it was for yours. A display of the restraint that only the divine can command. They were given mercy, not as a sign of weakness, but as a final warning, a line drawn in the sand. Their arrogance blinds them still, thinking they can come again, that they can challenge what has been ordained. They do not see the forces that now encircle you, ready to unleash upon them a wave of karmic retribution they cannot fathom. The barrier they once saw as fragile is now impenetrable, its surface alive with the power of God's judgment. Should they choose to press forward, to cross that divine line again, there will be no second warning. The next time they reach for you, the strike will be swift and unrelenting. The heavens will open, and the angels themselves will descend, not with shields to block, but with swords to cut down those who dare. They have had their chance to retreat. Their path back to safety is closing with every thought of malice they entertain. God's patience has run its course, and his declaration is final. Cross again and be destroyed. Their fate is sealed. Any attempt to harm you now is an invitation to their own ruin, a collision course with destruction they cannot escape. The mercy they once received will be a distant memory, eclipsed by the wrath that awaits. The flames they ignited will consume them whole, leaving nothing but ash in their wake. They will not survive this. You have risen beyond them. While they writhe in the consequences of their betrayal, you soar higher, untouched by their chaos. The hands that once reached to pull you down now grasp at nothing but the dust of their own ruin. You have been lifted by a force greater than their schemes, elevated far beyond the limits of their envy. They believed they could anchor you to their suffering, that their bitterness would drag you into the depths with them. But God has unshackled you. You rise, ascending to heights they can no longer even fathom, let alone reach. Their eyes strain upward, but all they see is the shadow of your wings as you ascend untouchable. Their downfall was inevitable, but your elevation was divinely orchestrated. It is not by chance that you stand above the fray, untouched by their malice, but by the will of God's own hand. He has chosen to raise you up, to demonstrate his power through your life. You are no longer tethered to the pettiness of their world, no longer bound by the rules they sought to impose. Every attempt to tear you down has only fueled your rise. The more they sought to destroy you, the higher God lifted you, using their own venom as the catalyst for your ascent. They believed they could control your fate, but they were never in control. God's hand has been in this from the beginning, guiding you through every storm, every shadow. Your elevation is not just a testament to your strength, it is a living testament to his glory. You are a beacon, a shining example of what divine favor looks like, and your enemies are nothing more than the scattered remnants of failed ambition. Each time they try to reach for you again, they will only fall further. Their plans unravel like fragile threads in the face of God's unyielding power. They are left in the dust, watching helplessly as you rise to heights they can never touch. Their downfall is not just punishment. It is a reflection of their own futility. Every step you take upward is a step away from their grasp, a step toward a destiny they will never share. You are lifted high to demonstrate not only your resilience, but the glory of God that shields and elevates you. Their failures are the echoes of your victory, and they will never touch you again. The past is dead, and with it, any power they thought they held over you. You have moved beyond their reach, beyond the grasp of those who wronged you. And now they stand on the other side of a door that will never open again. God has ensured that your future is untouchable, sealed with divine authority. They may try to return, clawing at the threshold of your life. But every attempt will only hasten their downfall. They do not understand the severity of their fate. They think they can rewrite the wrongs, undo the damage they caused. But the time for mercy has passed. They were warned. And yet their arrogance blinds them to the truth. You are no longer on the same plane as them. To try again would be to invite their own destruction. God's plan for you is unstoppable, a path that moves ever forward, lifting you higher with each step. Anyone foolish enough to try and disrupt your progress will be crushed beneath the weight of their own mistakes. Their fate is already sealed, locked away in the ruin they created for themselves. You have been set on a course of elevation, and those who dare attempt to interfere are stepping into their own demise. God has closed the door on your past, and no force on earth or in heaven can pry it open. It is not just locked, it is fortified with divine finality. If I may have your attention for a moment, one of our beloved Star Chamber members, David S., came up with this video topic, inspired by his battle with a narcissist, to deliver this message of truth. You are moving forward with divine strength. Nothing can stand in your way, and anyone who tries will face the consequences of their own downfall. If you want to shape the future of Obsidian and suggest topics just like David, the Star Chamber tier of the Obsidian Inner Order is where you belong. When you step into the Star Chamber, you become a force within Obsidian, helping craft content that shifts realities. Your support powers our battle against the dark forces, while you gain access to uncensored videos, powerful insights, and the strength to obliterate evil. The link to our Obsidian Inner Order is in the description. Together, we're rewriting the future, and nothing can stop the chosen ones from taking back what's always been ours. They will stand there, banging, shouting, begging for entry. But the door remains cold and immovable, a monument to their failure. Every knock, every desperate attempt sends them spiraling further into the abyss they thought they could escape. They are the ones left outside, trapped in a storm of their own making, while you walk in peace. Their cries will be drowned out by the roar of their own downfall, and they will come to understand that some doors, once shut, are never meant to be opened again. God has shut the door for good, and any who challenge that decree will be met with devastation. To try and force it open is not an act of defiance, it is an invitation to annihilation. Their time has run out, and now only ruin awaits them. You have ascended beyond their reach, and any attempt to pull you back will only serve to accelerate their descent into oblivion. The future is yours, untouched by their hands, sealed by divine will, and they will never touch you again. You are beyond the need for retaliation. The weight of divine justice has already been set in motion, and it is not your hand that will deliver it, but God's. Those who wronged you, who dared to challenge your place as the chosen one, have already sealed their fate. God has seen everything, every deceit, every insult, every attempt to drag you down, and now the time for their reckoning draws near. They may think they can return, that they can try again to harm you, but their arrogance blinds them to the truth. You are untouchable. The storm that now gathers above them is not one of their making, but one summoned by the heavens, and there is no shelter from it. Let them try. Let them dare to approach you again, and watch as God's wrath descends upon them with a force they cannot withstand. The consequences they once experienced were only the beginning, a mere tremor compared to the earthquake that now builds. Their downfall is not a question of if, but when, and when it arrives, it will leave no corner of their life unscathed. Every attempt they make to rise will only be met with more ruin, their every step shadowed by the weight of their choices. They thought they could escape the divine balance, that they could walk away from their sins against you. But no one escapes the justice of God. The next strike will be unforgiving. The destruction awaiting them is total. It will not be a mere inconvenience or a slight stumble. It will be the unraveling of their very foundation. Their plans will crumble, their strength will wither, and everything they hold dear will be stripped away. This is not a warning, this is their fate. For once they set their sights on harming a chosen one, they signed their own ruin into existence. God's retribution is a force they cannot bargain with, cannot plead against. There is no mercy left for those who dare challenge what has been ordained. Trust that you are shielded, that you are protected by a power far greater than any force they can muster. You need not lift a finger. God's justice is final, and it is complete. The storm that has been building for them will fall soon, and when it does, it will be the end. Let them come, if they dare. Their fate is already written in the flames of divine wrath, and their time has run out. You walk in a space carved out by divine authority. You are no longer the one who wonders, who questions, who hesitates. Your steps carry the weight of destiny itself. Every path you tread has been laid out by God, and no force can stand against it. Those who thought they could challenge you, who believed their schemes could hold you back, have already been struck down by a power far beyond their comprehension. They were warned, yet they defied what was ordained. Now they are nothing more than whispers of failure, echoes of those who dared to rise against you and fell, shattered by divine justice. There is no fear in your heart, for fear is the enemy of the chosen. You walk in faith, not in the fragile faith of mortals, but in the unshakable knowing that God's protection surrounds you like an impenetrable fortress. Those who once stood in your way are but dust in the wind now, swept aside by the hand of the Almighty. Their defeat is not just possible, It is certain, already written in the annals of divine law. They may try to return, to claw their way back into your world, but every step they take toward you brings them closer to their own ruin. There is no path left for them, only an abyss waiting to consume their pride and arrogance. You stand tall, your eyes fixed not on those who seek to harm you, but on the heights you are destined to reach. God's plan for you is unfolding, and it is unstoppable. Every distraction, every obstacle they attempt to place in your way will crumble at your feet. You have claimed your space, not by force, but by divine right. There is no need to look back. The future belongs to you, and any who dare to interfere with what God has set in motion are merely hastening their own fall. Let them try. Let them think they can return, that they can undo what has been done. But know this, their path is lined with their own destruction, and every move they make against you only strengthens your position. They are walking toward their end, while you rise, lifted by the hand of God. Your space is yours, unchallenged, untouched. Your destiny is secure, protected by divine authority. There is no need for fear, only the certainty that no one can stand against what God has already decreed. God's word has been spoken over you, and it is final. No force, no voice, no hand can rise against what has already been sealed by divine decree. Those who dare attempt to challenge your destiny have already signed their own fate. Their efforts, however desperate or cunning, are futile. Every time they reach for you, every time they whisper your name with malice, they invite upon themselves swift and unrelenting destruction. God's warning is clear. They have no power here. The heavens themselves have declared that you are beyond their grasp. Any who try to touch what God has anointed will be struck down, left broken by the very forces they thought they could command. You walk in victory, but this is no fleeting triumph. It is an unshakable, eternal truth. Every step you take is rooted in this certainty. Your victory was written before they ever thought to oppose you. Their attacks are nothing more than shadows, illusions that fade under the weight of your divine protection. They thought they could alter the course of what God has planned, but they will only come to no ruin. Your victory is not fragile. It is not something that can be undone. It is an impenetrable fortress, guarded by the angels, reinforced by the power of the Almighty. No matter how hard they try, no matter how persistent their efforts, they will never break through. Let them come again if they dare. Each step they take toward you is a step into their own destruction. The flames of divine judgment wait for them, ready to consume all who would dare challenge what God has set into motion. You need not fear their return, for their end has already been decided. The battlefield they thought they could win is now the ground on which they will fall. Your enemies have no future here. They are remnants of a past that no longer has power over you. God's wrath is not a distant threat. It is imminent, and it will bring them to their knees. May you walk forward, knowing you are untouchable. Every enemy, every adversary that rises against you will face the full force of God's judgment. You are chosen, victorious, and unstoppable. The road before you is cleared, paved by divine will, and nothing they do can alter what has already been decreed. Victory is yours, and no one can take it from you. You stand in the unwavering light of God's protection, a force so powerful that no enemy can penetrate it. Every attempt to disrupt your path has already been crushed under the weight of divine justice. The road ahead is clear, paved by God's hand, and nothing can hinder your steps. Those who dared to challenge you have met their fate, and any who attempt to rise again will face utter destruction, consumed by the very chaos they sought to bring upon you. Their downfall is inevitable. Your victory is assured. You are wrapped in the armor of God's grace. You need no longer look over your shoulder, for no force can undo what has already been declared in your favor. Fear has no place here, for your protection is not just a promise. It is a living shield, impenetrable and eternal. Every step you take is a testament to your strength, a reflection of the power that walks with you. Let the world see that you are untouchable, and that any hand raised against you will fall before it ever reaches you. Stand tall, chosen ones. in the light of God's grace. Your enemies are powerless, and any further attacks will be met with divine destruction. Walk in peace and walk in victory. And if you're enjoying this video, please show some love to David in the comments. He is a true warrior for the chosen. Let your life be the story of triumph, a beacon of unshakable faith. Share your story with others. Let them see how the divine has shaped your path, and show them that when you are chosen by God, nothing can stand against you.